Boys and girls, porchetta. I absolutely love doing porchetta. For me, it's more of a wintry dish, but you know, to each their own. But I'm going to show you how to do a classic porchetta, and it's going to blow your mind. It's absolutely spectacular. Side of pork. So we need to sort of like get all these herbs. I've got some rosemary, sage, and thyme. I'm going to use a blender with some extra virgin olive oil. The salt we're going to apply afterwards. So get your herbs. For a piece of meat this size, you're looking at about that much of herbs. So I would say a third of each. Thyme, sage, rosemary. So all you're going to do is just roughly pop the leaves in there. And tip you can put in. Yes. Love it. Get all your herbs into the blender. I use a blender. It's just, you can chop them on the board, not a problem, but it's just faster. I'm just doing it for convenience sake, all right? And we literally just pick these out of the garden. I always grow all my herbs in the garden fresh. I like them to be close at hand because it does make a huge difference. It really does. Good fresh herbs make a huge difference to what outcome you'll have in your kitchen. And nice and clean. We live right by the sea. Those of you who have been here will know, literally the sea's just there. You can probably see it through the window in a few of the takes that we've done, but it literally is just down on the beach. And when the herbs grow closer to the sea, they have more resin in them. They're a little bit more powerful. And also the garden is sun facing, so we get all that lovely morning sun all the way through to the afternoon, so the herbs come out absolutely spectacular. Thyme. I'm just going to rub that in. I love good thyme. And thyme has got very thin, sort of like twigs, so if a couple go in, don't be too fussy about it. It's absolutely fine. You know, I don't bother. That's a soft one, so that doesn't matter. The salt, I'm not putting that in there. I will apply it by hand. Get all those herbs in there. All that lovely aroma. Getting more outside of the blender than in. Now, we said olive oil. I'm going to put up that much olive oil. And then we're going to give it a good blend. Before we go there, we need to sort out this. It's a bit thick, and I'd like there to be more folds where I can place the herbs. So the way I'm going to go about it is I'm going to start on this side here, work my way down a little bit, and then go to the side and across. I'm going to create sort of like an extra fold, if you want. Still attached. There you go, like that. Sort of like a little book where you can put the extra herbs in. Just going to go and blend this real quick. Get those herbs sort of like all nicely amalgamated, and then we're going to sort of like sort this out. Right, into the porchetta it all goes. And this, obviously, keep your hands nice and clean and just rub it all in. I do like one rich in herb. I really do. I love all that flavour. All right, now we're going to just do all the salting. Just going to go wash my hands. You see what I mean? It's all in there. Right, then we need to tie this up. I'll show you how to go about them. I'm just going to wash my hands. Salty salt. Let's move this around. So you got a little bit more surface there. We're not going to that's how I go about it. Then I fold it. I'm going to put a little bit more on here. And then you're going to fold it in and on itself. Okay? Then you're going to have the patience to sort of like scour it. This will help release the juices from within, which we're then going to use to do a nice Dijon mustard dressing to sort of like give it that extra je ne sais quoi. Some string, and let's start doing I always adjust the string to its own length, and if it's too much, then just cut the excess off. So for this we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 or 6 bands. That should be enough. Now you're not going to tie the knots sequentially. You're not going to sort of like tie together sequentially, because otherwise you'll squeeze out the herbs. You're going to start one side and then the other, then work your way into the middle so it stays all nice and sort of like inside. All right? I do it like this so that afterwards, when I take it out of the oven, I just pour and it comes undone. It's only a question of convenience. I come from a family of fishermen, so knots are sort of like my thing. In my mind, this is already done. Nice and tight. Underneath and over. Now, a good porchetta this size will take in and around 2.5 hours, more or less, of roasting. I wouldn't think that something this size is going to take more than that. But we're going to do it at various different degrees of temperature. I'm going to start with 200 degrees Celsius, and then I'm going to lower it down to 180. So I'll do about an hour and a half to 2 hours nearly, and then lower the temperature for a slow cook. So I want this to be a lovely, beautiful crackling. In it goes, like that. Gosh, all this, oh, it smells amazing. We want this to cook, but we don't want it necessarily to go crunchy right away. So I'm going to get the meat to cook, and then the crunch will come after. So look, there are two sides to tin foil, a reflective side and an opaque side. This is the side that allows the heat to go in. It does not reflect the heat as much. This one will reflect more. So we're going to put that on top like that. You're not going to be sort of like wrapping it around. You're just loosely placing it around it. That's what you're going to do. That's it. And in the oven it will go. Now, I'm going to put that back in the oven without the covering on top for this to become all nice and crispy, okay? Once that's happened, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the base for the mustard sauce, which is going to be sort of like the dressing for this, but we're going to use some of these fats to put in, remember, flavor. So that some of this is going to go into that Dijon base, okay? In fact, let's do it now. Va bene, avvio. In the oven. Senza coppare. Right then, this is going to be the Dijon mustard, all right? I've got a little bit of the fat from the porchetta. Now I am going to crush this in a garlic press because I do like garlic in mine. So I go about it like this, right? You want good mustard. You can use the coarse one, not a problem, but I'm using the paste one. I would say a nice big dollop of Dijon mustard like that. Now remember how I showed you how to do that bone marrow? Well, that's coming into play. To thicken, vegetable mass, pureed, roasted red onion, carrot and celery, which were part of that demi-glace. This is clearly not a vegetarian dish. About that much. And some cream. Now, let's go and see what happens. When you put this Dijon mustard sauce with that porchetta, things will happen. Have your partner to hand, wife, boyfriend, husband, you know, whoever, because afterwards shit will happen. I'm just saying, it's that good. Wait until you put all this together. Bambini will happen. Mamma mia. So I just steam these potatoes. I'm not going to take the skin off. I like my roasty tail. Oh, they are. Oh, shit. But I really do like a potato with its skin on. So we're just going to roast these. So that with that lovely porchetta, we've got some roasted potatoes. And the reason why I steam them for a little while is to soften them up so that when you roast them, yeah. Now I'm not using olive oil. I'm using my own fat, okay? It's easy to do. I showed you how I do mine. You can also use sort of like the trimmings of fat from pork, beef, whatever. Just, you know, make friends with your butcher. If you rough them up a little bit, all the better. Oops. Now, you can of course spoon it in if you want, but for best distribution, melt it beforehand and then just pour it on top, okay? So take the amount that you need for this, which I'm going to suggest is another dollop like that. Right. Put that on the stove, melt it down, and then on top it goes. Bit of salt. So that's the fat melted. It's beef tallow this, okay? Give it a good seam to all the way across. In the middle you go, so that's all I'm spiraling it in. Right. This is where we sort of like rough them up a little bit.
Guarda che sta porchetta come asciutta, ma tu dire me esce, no? Senti qua, senti qua, senti.
Senti?